Ladies and gentlemen, I have enjoyed this evening immensely. The actors have given us a charming rendering of a delightful play, and your appreciation has been most intelligent. I congratulate you on the great success of your performance, which persuades me that you think almost as highly of this play as I do myself.
Hello and welcome to How to Be an Icon. I'm Jared Jones. I am joined by Donna Cameron as always.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I am so good. The sun is shining, and it's that thing where you feel like you're unstoppable.
I'm glad that you are feeling unstoppable because I'm feeling very stoppable right now.
Jared's been a bit of a sicky boy.
So, peel back the curtain of this a little bit. We were like, oh, we'll record on Monday. But over the weekend, I got the flu. And it was really bad. And it's now Thursday at the time of recording. And I'm still sort of dealing with it,
You've been very brave.
I've been really brave, I was like, I'm going to get this podcast done this week. And we've managed to do that.
Come hell or high water, because I've given myself way too big of a task.
You really have. You love doing these like really big ones, like
the next one's going to be really small. I'm just going to...
You say that now, but it won't be because it never is. Like, I feel like I sort of fart about a little bit and go, oh, Madonna, I like her music. Let's just play some of that. Let's just put Vogue on and have a good time, everybody. Whereas you're there like, no, I'm going to go really in depth and really like kind of get into it.
I'm going to pull out the research. I read a book.
This is going to be 2 parts as well. This is our first. We're trying to make it a little bit different to sort of see how it plays.
Well, our boy today is just too big for one part.
He is too big for one night, like WrestleMania. Like that's what they said about Oscar Wilde. He's like the WrestleMania of his time.
Now, this is going to be a thing I want to do throughout the show. Oscar Wilde would have loved WrestleMania.
He would have loved WrestleMania? That's so interesting. Is it because he would have loved big men? Is that the...
Well... He likes men.
He likes men.
Comma general. But he loves a twink, and there's enough of them.
There's a few of them in WWE, so, there's definitely... But before we get into this, please give this podcast 5 stars, leave a comment, any of that good stuff. It really helps us out. And, if you like the sound of what we're doing, send it to a friend. We're a new little podcast, We need all the help we can get.
We're the brave little podcast that could.
We really, really are. So, Oscar Wilde is the person this week.
Oscar Wilde's the one. We were trying to do I didn't want to do a businessman.
Yeah, that's fair. We've done a few businessmen.
And I wanted to choose, I was also someone that wasn't a brand.
Okay.
So I ended up...
Are you saying that not a brand in that kind of influencer sense of oh yeah, I'm a brand? Or are you talking an actual literal brand?
I meant a brand like Chanel or Disney because I feel like Oscar Wilde kind of invented having a personal brand.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, he was really doing some stuff.
Because our podcast is a brand, okay? This is our brand right here.
Yeah. But, incredibly influential, probably the most misquoted person ever.
That's fun. I will say for the record, I know nothing of Oscar Wilde. So all I know of Oscar Wilde is you started watching a movie that had Stephen Fry and Jude Law in it, and I about I'm going to say halfway through, 3/4 of the way through, went, why am I watching this? This is really boring. And that wasn't because of the story itself. It was just the performances throughout were just not really given in any way.
Oh boy, I really tried twice in earnest to watch that film, and both times had to do it in 2 parts.
Would you say there is importance in being earnest?
That's the kind of wit we're working with today.
Okay. It's good stuff.
To start us off though with Jared, you know what we got to do?
Yes.
What's Oscar Wilde's favourite drink? No.
No?
It's not that.
I just thought for sure that would be the right answer. So it's not.
There's going to be so much story.
A lot of it.
Buckets of it.
Oh, okay. So it's not that, though. We might cut that.
Officially. It's not officially that. No, his favorite drink was absinthe and champagne.
Together?
No.
I was going to say.
Well, here's the thing. There's a point where it might actually be in the same, but he states two separate.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, he is a sloppy bitch, so, like, there's no, absinthe and champagne sounds very, like, that's like such an ab-fab thing to drink. That's what I imagine Patsy's favorite drink would be.
You've kind of jumped to it. Going through this, it's really, keep in mind that Oscar Wilde is somehow Eddie and Patsy at the same time.
Okay.
He is a menace to society himself, everyone around him.
Right.
You love to know about him. You'd hate to actually know him.
I see, yeah.
And he's not even the worst one we encounter.
Oh.
Because, but Oscar Fingal O'Flaherty Wills Wilde.
Okay.
I was so concerned about doing that name.
No, you did good.
Thank you. Was born 16th of October, 1854 on Westland Row in Dublin, Ireland. He studied at Trinity College Dublin and then later in Oxford, both with scholarships.
Oh.
I know. He showed incredible academic prowess really, really early on. He was fluent in German and French. He was also very talented at what they call classics. So Latin and Greek and all those things that I never learned about.
No, me neither.
He knew pretty early out the gate that he was gay.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good to know.
Yeah, around the time in Trinity College of 16, 17, he was falling in love with a classmate of his and was wait a moment.
Yeah.
But it kind of pops off when he goes to Oxford.
Like many men who go to visit Oxford in their university days, I'm sure they had a very similar experience of.
Well, I wanted to talk about this because there is at the time this kind of open secret of being gay in these establishments.
Yeah.
And it's this really interesting concept called romantic friendships that they had at the time.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And it's somewhere between, I am simplifying this massively, but it's somewhere between, you have these kind of homoerotic relationships because one, you want to practice before you get married, and B, boys being boys.
Well, yeah, when haven't you had a romantic friendship with your boys? That's just how it goes, They ain't your real boys if you ain't getting a romantic friendship with them, that's...
there's a lot of kissing, a lot of cuddling, a lot of...
Hey, do you not kiss your fellas goodnight, just like your boys? Just a little one, just to let them know that you're boys?
You should try it.
You should definitely try it, I think it really improves the squad's kind of dynamic. And I bet you Oscar Wilde had one hell of a squad.
I cannot wait to tell you about his squad. We will get there. Really interestingly, Oscar always really stood out. From super early on, physically, he's really tall and broad. He's kind of not the most attractive dude, and also not the type of dude that he likes. Because he likes twinks.
Yep.
And he has about maybe 8 weeks of being a twink.
Sunrise, sunset. That's happens to the best of us, I'm afraid,
And it's going to get worse. But a friend described him as, around this time, he must not have been more than 22. He had profuse brown hair worn rather longer than conventional. His face was large and so colourless that a few pale freckles were oddly conspicuous. He had a well-shaped mouth with somewhat coarse lips and green-hued teeth. The plainishness of his face was redeemed by the splendour of his great, eager eyes.
He had a big face, he had green teeth. Fellas, what don't you want,
I think Oscar really did the thing of I'm not hot, I gotta get good at talking.
Well, yeah, again, that's an important thing, As someone who's worked in radio, it's an important skill to master. How do you think I ended up here? It was not my good looks.
But you're so handsome. Around the time he's in Oxford, he is just so over the top, just right out the bat. His room is decorated with peacock feathers and blue china and lilies, and he's got candles everywhere. No big lights. He's a real no overhead light boy. I
mean, again, I don't like the big light either, so we got a lot in common. Interior design and not liking the big light. I'm liking the sound of this.
Exactly. He remarked to a friend, "I find it harder and harder every day to live up to my blue china." I just want to include some of these fun quips.
It's fun.
He had this thing where people either absolutely loved him or hated him.
Oh my God, he's such a Marmite personality.
He's-
You either love me or you hate me, but you've always got an opinion on me.
Yeah, basically. And again, I think he was kind of the first at that.
The first of that, yeah. He came up with the phrase, I'm a real Marmite. And also, if you are one of those people, no one likes you. It's not that no one... Are you either love me or you hate me?
No, no one likes you.
No one likes you. That's what that is.
Yeah.
Everyone just hates you.
He's also known at this time for his role in aestheticism.
Okay.
But it's the idea that the purpose of art should be for its own sake. It's not for morality. It's not to teach you a thing. It's vibes. It's all like fun and saucy.
You know, a lesson that I think we could definitely pick up on, you know? I think that's something that we can learn. Not everything has that much meaning.
Especially this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. This is not art. It is... I don't know what it is, but it's...
It's poetry, everyone.
It's poetry in motion.
Oh.
Like the Jeff Hardy move.
You would have loved Jeff Hardy.
No, he wouldn't. He wouldn't have loved Jeff Hardy. He would have liked what he was about. I don't think he would have liked him falling through tables and stuff.
No, I just think he would have been like, love how he lives. After graduating from Oxford, he starts to move to London, and he has one of his like first and kind of last like big crises with his sexuality, where he goes to a priest to confess his current unhappy self. And the priest is like, you know, this happens sometimes. Go pray on it a week and then let me know how you feel. Oscar doesn't go to the second appointment and just sends him a bouquet of lilies being like, so long.
I'm not sure how how confession works, like, but
he never really figures out confession.
No.
He keeps trying to be Catholic and then just being like, oh, but I like being fun too much.
You know, Madonna had a similar problem, I think.
We're going to see a lot of overlap between the two.
Okay.
But he's starting to like make himself a little bit known, and the aesthetic movement in general is starting to come into like pop culture, and it starts to get a little bit of backlash. Social critic Max Nordau, in his essay Degeneration, claims that Oscar suffers from a hysterical craving to be noticed.
Well, I mean, again, it happens to the best of us. Like,
Yeah, you know, he's not wrong, but his conclusions kind of are like, people like these are of no use to the Commonwealth.
It's definitely a perspective.
But he would have been so mad to see Eurovision. Joke's on him. That hysterical craving to be noticed is now a yearly event.
I mean, a yearly event. It's a goddamn daily event on on this thing called social media, where it's like that's everything is there.
It's kind of interesting because now we have this idea that like art for art's sake is just kind of a given. We're kind of aware of this, but at the time there is this kind of like puritanical like art should have this purpose, and people really actually started to really dislike Oscar for this luxurious sort of writing, this kind of like over the top unnecessariness to it. He wasn't super subtle with his sexuality. He was quite like flamboyant, and publications such as Punch started like making fun of him under the fake name Jellaby Postlethwaite.
Okay, so this is like a ghostwriter who is...
It's a caricature of him.
Right,
They're making cartoons of him.
I see, okay.
And they make this comment, the poet is wild, but his poetry's tame, which he was furious about.
I mean, that's fair. Like, you put in a lot of, you know, he loves his blue china. He's really, like, making a thing. I can see why political comics would do his nutting. It'd be like if now, like, you know, they did like a bit of it on SNL. He'd hate that. He would.
And he would try to like clap back on Twitter and really kind of not quite get it.
Yeah.
As much as he'd like to.
Oh, so what you're saying is that Oscar Wilde is the Jeremy Strong of...
No, because Oscar Wilde has a sense of humor.
I mean, would Oscar Wilde do a Dunkin' Donuts commercial, though?
It depends where he is in his career, because at some points he really needs money.
I see.
He also begins a courtship with Florence Balacombe. who is a childhood sweetheart of his, who later went on to marry Bram Stoker, the Dracula guy.
Oh,
you might have
okay.
heard of it.
I may have heard of it. So this is a lady fellow in this story.
He's dabbling with ladies at this point because it's just kind of the thing to do.
I mean, hey, it's always been the thing to do, to dabble with ladies, let me tell you.
Florence might have had a type for the fruitier man because it's speculated that Bram Stoker was a closeted gay man. And there's a really interesting misspelling in some editions of Dracula where Wilde is spelt with an E. A wild feeling came over me. And some people speculate that he's going like, ooh, Oscar, notice me.
Oh, okay.
That's complete speculation.
Do you know what? I do the same though. Like I sometimes put the E on when I'm writing Wild. You know, that's because I can't write.
I just think it's like if there was a dude who liked dudes at this time, Oscar's gonna find him and send him a letter. Oscar's sliding into DMs left, right, center.
I mean,
he's on all the apps.
Nice.
Would have loved Grindr.
I mean, of course he would. You know.
In 1882, he was invited to visit America to do like a tour of lectures. And it was reported by some newspapers that when the boat docked, every Charlotte Ann in New York waved his arrival.
Every Charlotte Ann?
Yeah, that was the kind of name given for gay men in New York at the time.
Oh, man. You know, your parents probably said a friend of Dorothy's. And before that, every Charlotte Ann.
Every Charlotte Ann. And Oscar's mockery actually didn't stop overseas. There were like American publications who were also making caricatures of him. So much so that there was a play with a character that was making fun of him. So when he arrived in New York, before he started his lecture tour, he showed up to the play dressed as the character.
Oh, okay, that's fun. You know.
He stated to the press, caricature is the tribute that mediocrity pays to genius. And then dropped the mic.
Man, there's so much like, you know, history's like a flat circle. Like things just sort of like repeat itself.
Yep. No, history never changes.
Shithousery finds a way.
The shithousery that is going to commence. We are not even on the ground level of shithousery.
Okay.
Oscar's lectures sell out, but his first one, he's really nervous. He actually doesn't do that well. And then he locks in. He fixes it very, very quickly.
Get it twisted, lock in.
Some of the papers report him as girlish, effeminate, and a mama's boy. And he tried to attend some clubs in New York. Gentlemen's clubs, not...
not nightclubs, you know.
He would have loved a club, though. Someone, when he was trying to get in, was asking like from behind the bar, what sex is she? Oscar was not discreet.
No.
In any sense of the word. He showed up, I think a little bit because he was like on vacation and feeling himself.
Yeah.
He was writing to every man that he thought he could write to. And he was also leaving his letters around. And it's suspected this was the first time Oscar got blackmailed. Because it was very common at the time for gay men to have their letters stolen and used against them.
Right, yeah.
We'll get to this a little bit later on, but being gay at the time itself wasn't a crime.
Right.
It was the act of sodomy.
Okay.
So at this moment, he has a little bit of flexibility to work with it. That will change at some point. But a lot of his letters are using like really well-known gay code. Like he sends Robert Roosevelt a letter about one of his employees as one of the prettiest things I've seen in America.
Yeah, so he's not being subtle. Like he wants it well known.
He wants it well known. He also kind of just bothered Walt Whitman into meeting him. He just sent him a bunch of letters. Whitman's like sexuality is a little bit debatable, but it is recorded in Oscar's diaries that they talked about kissing dudes, and they might have had a little kiss themselves.
Oh, wow, that's so scandalous.
I know. But over the lecture tour, like attendance kind of waned, and eventually like Oscar just had to go home.
Okay.
You know, fun's over, gotta go back. And he's starting to gotta get himself respectable because the papers are really starting to get on him.
Right.
They all are going, this guy might be gay.
Well, I mean, by the sounds of it, though, he's not exactly like... He's very openly gay by the sounds of it. Like, as much as you can be.
As much as you can be, yeah.
You know, at the time. Like, it's not... It doesn't seem subtle.
He gets less subtle as we go on as well. if you can believe that. In 1881, Oscar meets the woman he would marry. His long-suffering, and I am going to put in running for saddest woman alive.
Oh, okay.
Constance Lloyd. When she died in 1898, her brother Otho wrote, "There are some lives that are evidently doomed to be mistreated, and hers was one. I doubt if she ever strictly knew what happiness was, at least for any long time together."
Man, that's a damning indictment. That's the saddest thing that you can, you know.
I'm not even exaggerating. When I read that, I started to cry. There is a little bit of Marge Simpson to Constance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. They met each other very, very briefly, and then Oscar went to America. Then he got back, then they got married.
Right.
So it's all very, very, like, quick. Constance has a really sad childhood. Her father died, her mother was abusive, she lived with her grandfather, she had this, like, very controlled, like, life even for a woman of this period. He proposed by letter, which was quite common at the time.
Well, yeah, that would make sense, you know.
And they married in 1884. Constance fell for Oscar immediately, like so many women did. Like, women really liked him. They liked hanging around with him because he was charming and flattering and fun to be around compared to a lot of the other dudes who are kind of aggressive and weird.
Yeah.
In response to his proposal, Constance said, "As long as I live, you shall be my lover."
Oh, man. So she's, you know, she's not fully aware of...
She has no idea. At this stage, she has no idea. And it's very debated when she figures out. But she's always with him. Like, they never separate. People really debate how he feels about her. But he does write several times things like, "I feel incomplete without you." Like, he always goes back to her.
Right.
Eventually. There is a chance that Oscar also felt like he kind of didn't have a choice.
Yeah, I can see why that would potentially be, you know, something that, you know, you kind of have to keep up a little bit of the illusion, even if you're not necessarily like...
There was like a handful of things. So firstly, there are some records around this time that he went to a doctor, and we don't know exactly why, but some people do speculate that it was because he was gay, and a lot of doctors at the time would recommend the marriage cure, which is basically like Pavlov dogging yourself into loving women. Like, if you marry one, you're not going to sleep with dudes anymore.
How did that work out?
Poorly.
Ah, good.
It ended with a court case.
Hey, spoilers. We're going to get to that.
Like I said, Oscar wanted the papers off his back. Getting married kind of just means that he goes, "You can stop calling me gay now." He also might have needed some money.
Right.
Oscar's not great with cash. He loves to treat himself.
Oh my God, girl, me too. Like, babe, you know, you got to spoil yourself sometimes.
Exactly.
That blue china's not going to buy itself.
The frock coats, the lilies, it's all going to be paid for somehow. They had their honeymoon in Paris. Constance spent most of the time alone in the hotel by herself, and Oscar hung out with just some really unsavory dudes in Paris. He may have had sex with a female sex worker at this point.
Lad, you know?
Just to try it out, and he was kind of like, "No, still not about it."
I like the idea that you've got a woman waiting at home and you think, I don't want to waste that on her. Like, you know, I'm going to try it.
He kind of Madonna whores Constance a little bit. He really holds her up in this, like, pure esteem.
Right, okay.
Yeah. While they're in Paris, Oscar's twink death begins. He's got a lot of money, and he really starts making the most in the food and the drink. He's consuming pounds of foie gras.
That's so gross.
I actually don't know that for that certain. I just
I mean, it just sounds right, though.
Yeah. You know? When they return back to London, they move into number 16 Tate Street in London, and Oscar names it the Beautiful House. And
The
uses
tight house. Tight house.
tight house. Well, he called it the Beautiful House, and he used Constance's money to renovate it.
My man.
Constance, off from her grandfather, was receiving around £250 a month, which today is £250,000. And Oscar was blowing through all of it.
Oh, man. I mean, what did a granddad do? Where's his money coming from?
That's a great question. By this point, he was dead.
Oh,
So
okay.
she was getting, like, payments.
Oh, okay. Weird.
It's dowry stuff.
Yeah, right.
14th of August, 1885, the Criminal Law Amendment Act passed.
Right.
This did one of two things. Firstly, great news. The age of consent from girls went from 13 to 16.
That's a good one. That's a real good... We did a good one there, guys.
Love that one.
Yeah.
Bad one. It introduced the misdemeanor of gross indecency, which criminalized sexual acts between men in public or in private.
Well, you can't win them all. That's not a good one.
This came about due to like a handful of scandals, one involving an Irish minister and another involving two cross-dressers called Stella and Fanny. Basically,
Sorry. That's really immature for me to laugh.
well, things are about to get more immature.
Okay. Okay.
They were arrested under solicitation. And because at the time being gay wasn't the crime, sodomy was, they were kind of made to undergo a really humiliating exam to prove sodomy had taken place. Use your imagination, kids. We're not going to describe it. However, Stella and Fanny were apparently just like heckling the attending doctors and officers as the exam took place. Says this went on. And one of the doctors stated it was like nothing he'd ever seen before. And this was kind of used as a like scare in morality. We see these like come and go. Some of this might sound similar to you at the moment, guys. They were trying to ban nude art. Politicians were trying to censor plays. There was this massive moral panic around gay men, that they were going to corrupt our children and XYZ, But it meant that the openness that Oscar was able to kind of move under now had really tightened, because now we have this really vague term, gross indecency, which we can kind of throw whatever we want at.
Yeah.
In April of 1887, Oscar became the editor of a magazine called Ladies' World, which he immediately changed to Woman's World.
Like Katy Perry.
He would have hated Katy Perry, as I wrote it in my script.
Look, I think Katy Perry would have been really about it, It's a woman's world, and we're lucky to be living in it.
We sure are. It's kind of believed that he didn't really care about this magazine, and he didn't really care about the dress reform movement that was happening at the time that was like, hey, what if women wore pants? He just needed money.
Right, yeah. So he's just sort of like, he's doing it because he has to.
Yeah. In 1888, he publishes his first book of fairy tales, The Happy Prince and Other Tales. This includes a bunch of kid stories such as The Selfish Giant, which is, I think, the one we've all heard in primary school.
I don't know it.
It's the one about the giant who has a garden that's really nice and all the kids want to play in it. And he's like, no, you can't. And he builds a wall in it and then the garden dies. And he's like, maybe blocking people out of my life's a bad idea.
Oh, okay. I've heard a variation of that story, yeah.
The Secret Life of Oscar Wilde, the book I reference throughout this, has this amazing line. From this point on, Oscar's lovers appear and disappear at a dizzying and ever-accelerating rate.
So he's burning through them.
He's burning through them, and he has this really bad habit of leaving lovers as soon as he's met them. The first one of these lovers being journalist Robert Ross. And Robbie is really interesting because he's actually more openly gay than Oscar is. He's actually come out to his family.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But he also just gets sick all the time. He spends like a bunch of time just dying in bed and then like showing up again. Do you remember this scene in the Stephen Fry movie where they meet each other?
No, I don't remember any. The only thing I remember about that movie was Stephen Fry looking just sort of like, ooh, about everything that's going on around him. Like he looks really just like po-faced and ooh.
So this is the scene with Mike. I think it's Michael Sheen.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got the right actor. In that film, they meet each other through kind of like a friend of a friend thing, and Robbie ends up staying at their house, and they have a lovely dinner where they make eyes at each other all evening.
Yes.
And then Constance goes to bed, and they start talking about love.
Yeah.
And then they start undressing and kind of unconvincingly kissing.
Yes.
There's a lot of really bad kissing in that film.
There is.
In reality, they met each other in a public toilet and got it on real quick.
Classic. Did he invent cottaging then? Is that what we're going with?
I don't think they invented it, but they certainly popularized it. Cottaging's so interesting because it comes from... Do you know anything about Polare?
No.
Polare is basically the gay equivalent of Cockney rhyming slang. It is the like vocabulary gay men would use at the time, so the police didn't know what they were talking about.
Okay, yeah.
And that's terms like cottaging, dyke, butch, drag. A lot of like terms we use for gay people come from Polare.
That's very interesting.
There you go. Look that up at some time. It's believed that Robbie and Oscar's relationship wasn't super long, but they were friends for the rest of their life. And Robbie also became Constance's friend because someone had to be Constance's friend. I kind of suspect that Robbie became close with Constance because they'd both been abandoned by Oscar. And Robbie would also kind of console the other dudes that Oscar had abandoned, doing a bit of like, it's not you, he's just like that.
Oh man, he's got like a bunch of strays that are just like sort of having to...
They start like hanging out with each other. They all start like being friends and dating each other.
I guess it's a good way to meet other people, you know, like...
Oh yeah, did Oscar like say that you were the most beautiful Greek boy he'd ever seen and then bail on you? Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oscar also kind of started to make a habit of introducing his lovers to Constance. And I have never quite decided whether or not it's for her approval or to rub it in her face.
Yeah, I mean, you know, that could go either way, I suppose. Either way, it's messed up. That's a messed up thing to do. Like,
right.
Like, it doesn't really matter the reason. That's really gross. Don't do that.
Don't do that. He was asked to write a dedication to a collection of poetry written by a member of the House of Commons, another very closeted gay man. Oscar wrote this incredibly homoerotic dedication to someone else's book, who then was like, hey, that's not cool, because he lost his job in the House of Commons because of it.
Man.
From any time on, though, anytime like they mentioned him to Oscar, he would just like look off wistfully and be like, a true poet and a false friend.
Man, people like seem to both be like way more chill about these things and also way less chill about these sorts of things.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
There was Bernard Bernson, who was a guy really well known at the time for loving gay guys to come on to him and then like rebuff them.
Yeah.
He did this to Oscar, who was like furious at first and then was like, that's so funny, we should be best friends. And there is Fred Alphys, a low-level legal clerk who got it really bad for Oscar. Oscar basically ghosted him. And Fred shows up at his house. And Oscar's like, hey, you can't meet my wife. Only my cool friends meet my wife.
Oh,
you need to leave.
Man. You don't have to get the weird approval. You're not worth it.
Isn't that rough?
That's poor Fred, you know?
I know. There is a really good summary of it in this book, which is Oscar was generous to a fault with his money, but utterly selfish when it came to matters of the heart. I made a note that it's really easy to be generous with someone else's money.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just not his money, you know?
Some of it's his money. He is earning his own money. He is also blasting through Constance.
Yeah, it's a 250 grand a week.
Month.
250 grand a month. And it's like, well, yeah, it's dead easy to spend that, you know? And you're going to be there like, oh, well, he was very generous with his money and not with his love. It's like, no, he's very generous with his wife's money. He was basically just having pin money that he was making.
Yes.
writing for, you know,
Woman's World.
take a break. Like, that he's just not.
He was also getting a little bit of money from his first collection of poetry, which was creatively called Poems.
Bad SEO on that one, Oscar. Like, that's never going to catch on. You're never going to make any money out of that.
In 1890, he started to make some money.
Oh, okay.
Because he wrote his only novel. And I think this is what establishes Oscar as an icon. Because his poetry is a bit too niche. His plays would have been like studied by drama students. But it's The Picture of Dorian Gray.
That's a book I've heard of.
What do you know about the?
All I know is that in the movie 500 Days of Summer, that's the book that Summer's reading when she meets her husband at the end of the movie. And that's all I know about it. I don't know nothing else. She's like, I was just sitting in a cafe reading Dorian Gray. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt's like, well, what's that got to do with anything? And she was like, well, what if I wasn't there? What if I wasn't reading that book? What if I read something else? What if I went to watch the movies, you know? That's all I know about it. I know nothing about what it's about.
Zooey Deschanel features nowhere in the novel.
Does she not?
No, she doesn't. It's not to like crap on Oscar a little bit. It's a lot of self-insert characters here.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is also a lot of his work, but it is the story of Basil Hallward painting a portrait of the young Dorian Gray, this like charming, beautiful, blonde young man. And against Basil's best wishes, Dorian meets Lord Henry Wotton, who informs Dorian, who somehow doesn't already know this, but informs him that he will not be hot one day and will also get older and uglier, which causes Dorian to have an existential crisis and exchange his soul so the painting would get older.
Okay.
Instead of him.
Right.
And he just runs with it and it works out great for everyone.
Yeah?
Sure. Not any of the characters that I've mentioned, but someone. It's a real pillar of like Gothic literature. If that is something that interests you, I really recommend it. It's one of my favorite novels. The book was really divisive because the subtext is not really subtext. It's mostly just text. Yep. And that text is, if it feels good, do it.
I can see why that would, ruffle some feathers.
Yeah. There is also, like I said, it's really, really obvious that there's a little bit of the characters are what I want to be, who I think I am, and what I actually am. Like, it's really kind of blatant what we're doing here. It was originally published in a magazine, but Oscar didn't like the reception. No one responded to it enough, so he republished it himself.
Yeah.
He was at a publication party with Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I couldn't find if they got on with each other or not. But that's one of those weird history things that, they would have been around each other.
Yeah, again, this is always the thing that I go back to of when people from history are around at the same time and you go, well, I don't expect these things to be together. Again, and we talk about wrestling way too much on this podcast. But it's the fact that Andy Warhol is at the first WrestleMania.
Exactly.
And you're like, those two things are different. Those two things aren't together in the same time period. But no, they very much are.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's one of those kind of weird situations where you don't really consider it, but yeah, they would be.
It's also one of these really ironic tragedies in Oscar's life, because arguably his greatest literary achievement is the thing that will be used against him in court. And things really start to turn a little bit for him. February 1892, Lady Windermere's Fan opens in London. This is notable, one, because it's, again, a very popular play of Oscar's, but many men in the audience are seen wearing green carnations. And green neckties were a really common, signal in Paris of gay men.
Right.
And Oscar was really trying to start this thing with green carnations.
Oh my God, that's so brat of him.
He was brat before brat. And I'm going to tell you when he gets to his brat summer, because he does.
Can't wait.
I also just think it's fun that we've always had some kind of version of the hanky code.
Yeah. For those who don't know, the hanky code is excuse me if I'm wrong here, but it's a thing for gay men to recognize other gay men and what they may be into
Yes.
based on a color of a hanky and what pocket it's in their back. So
Yes.
yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah. Lady Windermere's Fan is a 4-act comedy about a man cheating on his wife. And Constance was in attendance to this opening night, and you can just kind of see her watching this being like,
wait a minute, that's me.
Is this about? And a friend even had to like ask Oscar to not leave her alone all evening, being like, please go hang out with your wife because she's just sat there, just quietly. By this time, both of Oscar's sons had been born, Cyril and Vanya. And the reason I didn't mention this sooner is because they don't really play any part in this story.
No, they don't. They you don't hear about Oscar Wilde's children at any point. I'm surprised he had any, if I'm being really honest.
It is quite shocking, but again, I think there's a little bit of you kind of needed to keep the act up a little bit.
Yeah.
Oscar had also developed this really nasty habit of saying nasty things about Constance behind her back.
It's not surprising. From everything you've said so far, this is pretty pretty on trend.
He sent this to a friend in a letter, which was, my wife was a beautiful girl, white and slim as a lily. Within a year or so, the flower-like grace had all but vanished. She'd become heavy, shapeless, and deformed. She dragged herself around the house in uncouth misery, with drawn, blotched face and hideous body, sick at heart because of our love. It was dreadful. I tried to be kind to her, forced myself to touch and kiss her, but she was always sick. It was loathsome. Oh, bud. And, I'm not here to completely, condemn Oscar, because we get later on of, you probably just shouldn't have been in this marriage, but this is, not okay.
Yeah.
This is so unnecessary and cruel. And, she's having to go out in public and kind of be the butt of everyone's joke.
I mean, but that's, typical man stuff of, oh, bloody hell, they put the slap on when you're trying to date them, but then once you're married, they let themselves go, He's going to get some lad credentials here of got the bloody wife at home.
Oh, bloody hell, ball and chain.
Oh, ball and chain. Bloody hen pecking me she is.
Yes, I believe that's exactly how he spoke.
With her shapeless face and...
drawn blotched. To balance that out, I'm going to just kind of neutralize it with something nice before we go any further, because I'd like to give a little shout out to some listeners.
Yes, thank you very much to everyone who has been listening in to our last couple of podcasts. They've been doing very well. They've been having a very, very, very good experience. And if you are enjoying listening to our podcast, like I say, please hit the subscribe button or follow button on whatever it is your podcast platform of choice. Leave us a 5-star review. Leave us a comment on there as well, because we'll read it out.
I'm going to shout out two icons, Nikki and Casey Lee. Thank you so much for supporting and listening to our podcast. You truly are little stars. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Is that what we're calling our listeners? Our icons?
Yeah, they're our icons.
Our little icons?
I know. And much like Nikki and Casey Lee's positive reviews, the play got a bunch of positive reviews.
She ties it back in, everybody.
She is a professional.
She's a professional.
Oh.
She makes it happen.
And this is the bit where I really start to like Oscar again, because he's funny.
Okay.
He's so funny in public. He finishes the evening by getting on stage with a lit cigarette in hand, saying, I have enjoyed this evening immensely. The actors have given us a charming rendition of a delightful play, and your appreciation has been most intelligent. I congratulate you on the success of your performance, which persuades me to think almost as highly of my play as I do myself.
Yeah, that's good.
And that's the thing of his charm and his wit always kind of comes to the surface in that you can understand why people are so drawn to him, because he is razor sharp on it all of the time. And he's in all of the newspapers. People are lauding this play as genius and satirical. And on the other hand, the Daily Telegraph is calling him a puff, both in reference to the cigarette and his sexuality.
I mean, that's good journalistic writing.
But Oscar is the toast of the town. The people that don't like him are kind of zoned out a little bit, because he is...
They ain't nothing but the haters,
Exactly. And like, what are you
And he'd be flexing on those haters.
He's got his curled hair. He's got his purple frock coats. He has a group of disappointed men following him around, desperate for his attention.
They've got a support group. There's a meeting on Wednesdays if you need to be there where they all talk about how sad they are that they're no longer with him.
And they're only going to get sadder because this story is too big for one part. Because we're going to have to leave things off for now, Jared. Join us next week when we talk about the worst person you've never met. The love of Oscar's life. The terror twink himself. It's Lord Alfred Douglas. Tune in next week.
Oh, I'm very excited to hear. That's very good. But thank you so much for this first part. Join us next week, next Wednesday, where we'll be wrapping up this episode on Oscar Wilde.
He just settles down with Constance. They get a little farm together, and Cyril
and Lasagna, they have a great time. You know, they all go live happily ever after. I guess we should probably, at the halfway point of our thing of this, of how to be an icon, we can't leave without having some kind of lesson.
No, what have you learned so far?
I've learned a lot. I think the main thing that, you know, maybe for part one is a great lesson, but for part two might be a different thing, is be yourself. Like, nothing bad can happen if you're just yourself, you know, like being who you are will always work out great. It will always be the best thing to do, you know, don't change for nobody.
I think by being just bold,
yes,
is the way that you do it. Like,
no, I do. I'm being facetious,
no,
but I do actually agree.
But he also was so himself. The law got involved, you know, like.
But yeah, no, I do think like being bold and being, you know, just being very nice, I think, is the other thing. Like, not so much in like a personal sense, but just being, you know, very charming and charismatic can get you so far. And, you know, it worked on some people and didn't work on others, but like it.
He was known to be, to the people he was very, very close to, was very generous.
Yes.
He did give out gifts and compliments. He would always try and help people, and we see him try and help people later on as well. He's just utterly selfish. And that is my lesson for this. Selfishness, unfortunately, gets you quite far.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
As we've already learned in our 4 episodes.
And I think it's one that a theme that we're going to come back to quite a lot.
So just think about yourself and drive home safe, everyone.
Drive home safe.